Hey everyone, Uncle Jesse here. Today we're doing another 3D printing shopping video, and today we're going to be heading on into Hobby Lobby. Well, there, Hobby Lobby. Let's head on in. For those of you not familiar with Hobby Lobby, it's a US store that's basically a ginormous arts and crafts shop here in the US, and it just sells a variety of different things, and it's great to have nearby just because it sells some things that you can't typically find at stores like Walmart or even Michael's or other arts and crafts stores that you can find locally. Some of those including mold making materials that we'll talk about here in just a few minutes. Also, if you're not familiar with the basic premise of this video, is I just walk around stores trying to find cool things that might help supplement your 3D printing experience or finishing your 3D printing projects. And this one today is really going to be zeroed in on the finishing aspect because I found lots of things when it comes to actually painting and refining your 3D prints. A few other quick tidbits about Hobby Lobby. It's not even August yet and they have Christmas stuff up. A little crazy to me. The other is they don't use scanners at the checkout and it takes forever to check out there. They have to manually punch in all of the values there, the costs of the items that you're purchasing. It just blows my mind how backwards it is when checking out there. The other is they used to have 40% off coupons that you could just use on your phone and scan. They've done away with those back in I think February or March, which really hurts because previously you were able to find some really amazing deals here combined with that 40% off coupon, but they still have lots of deals going on and you'll see some of that here in the video today. So this first one I picked up is one that I just really needed for around my shop, and it's a mini glue gun. I need this for when I'm actually trying to work on painting some of my miniatures or just smaller projects where I need to glue a few things together, and I just want to have a smaller glue gun on hand in my workshop area versus the full glue gun that I have typically laying around that I work with. This was a great deal, only at $4, and it's a high heat glue gun. I'll see how it works once I get it home, and I did pick up a few small glue sticks with this as well. Another one that you might find useful are alcohol inks, especially when it comes to resin 3D printing. If you're looking to tint some of the resin that you're working with, you can find those there at Hobby Lobby. They have a variety of different alcohol inks, actually in a few different sections, but I honestly think you might be able to find a better combined deal off of something like Amazon, but it was great to see some of the varieties of colors of the alcohol inks that were available here in store, especially if I needed something quickly for this exact same day that I need to run off and 3D print something versus waiting 2 days for Amazon to ship me something. It's not a bad option to have on hand, but paying $4 for one small container is a little bit steep knowing that I can buy a full bundle for, I think it was $10 or $20 over on Amazon if I'm willing to just wait the handful of days. Now, obviously, since Hobby Lobby is an arts and crafts store, a big portion of their shop is going to be dedicated to things like craft paints. You can find lots of different acrylic paint options there, spray paints there, and I also found some flexible cosplay paint that I've never seen before. And apparently it's a flexible acrylic paint that you can apply to foam props that you might be working on, which again might be supplementing some of the cosplay 3D printed projects that you're working on. You also can find a huge variety of paintbrushes in the store. I was personally looking for some more silicone paintbrushes. I know they carry those, but my store was out of them, unfortunately. That was one thing I was hoping to use with some of my upcoming resin 3D printed projects. It is also getting nice and toasty in my car. Now, if you watched my previous video about 5 easy ways to finish your 3D prints, and if you haven't, there'll be a link here up in the corner. 2 of the different things that I featured were patina paints as well as rust paints. So these are different effects that you can paint on to your prints and then apply some of this finishing spray, and it will actually add a patina finish or a rust finish to the prints, and it looked amazing. And I ended up buying those directly from Hobby Lobby when I was down in Florida visiting my dad, and yeah, it's fantastic, and I would highly recommend trying these out. I'm going to be playing with this a little bit further, seeing if I can find some cheaper alternatives, because again, I think these were about $22, $23, and it's a little bit steep of a price to pay, but the end results look really good. One of the other techniques that I showed off in that video was rub and buff, applying that to your 3D prints after you've painted them black. just as a great, easy way to finish off your prints. And again, I picked up my Rub and Buff from Hobby Lobby, and I've got some here on hand that I picked up from that previous trip, and they just sell a variety of different options there that you don't typically see in a lot of the other stores like Michael's or Joann Fabrics, where they typically just carry the silver or gold leaf options. One thing that they didn't have in the store that I'll be showing some overlays here on the screen is that I previously picked up from this Hobby Lobby is a paint stand. I think that's what it's called. Basically, there's a base and it has little sticks that you can suspend different prints from that little stand, and it makes it just a lot easier process when it comes to spray painting smaller printed parts for your different projects. So maybe it's like infinity stones, you can use the little grippers, the little claws on the end to hold on to whatever it is that you're painting, and then run off and spray paint it. And you don't have to worry about it sitting flat on a surface. Those little wooden sticks help keep it posted up off the ground. That would actually be a really interesting project to see if someone's actually run off and 3D modeled one of those that you can just download and print and then maybe put in your own sticks. I'm not quite sure how that would work, but it would be just kind of interesting to see if there was a 3D printable option out there. One of the other things that Hobby Lobby sells a lot of that I'm a big fan of are metallic pens. If you're looking to add some really cool effects to some of your prints or just really highlight some of the details on your prints, these metallic pens are a great way to do that, and they carry them there in the store with a variety of different colors. I'm a big fan of the chrome option. This is one from Krylon that I've used a dozen times. Unfortunately, once you open them, they last about 6 to 9 months, I would say, before they completely dry out. Oh, I also did find a new product that I haven't tried before. This is metallic Lustre. I think this might end up being sort of like a gold Rub and Buff, but it's in a huge container compared to that little packet that Rub and Buff comes in. This might be paintable. I'm not entirely sure. I'll be doing some follow-ups hopefully on some of the projects that I'm doing from these store runs here, and we'll see how this works, but I'm kind of excited to see how this looks. Also, if you're a big fan of Krylon spray paints, they typically have those on sale in their store. They were running a promotion here today. I'm not a big fan of Krylon. I'm a Rust-Oleum guy, so I buy a lot of the Rust-Oleum products. However, they do have the Snap and Spray Gun. This thing is awesome for all of your different spray paints that you're using. If you don't already have one of these, I really recommend picking up one of these. This just snaps onto the top of your spray can, and it basically just saves your finger from having to press over and over. It's just a much easier mechanism to pull this handle here. Another thing Hobby Lobby sells a lot of are mold making and casting supplies. There are a variety of different options that you can choose from. Again, this is where that 40% off coupon would have come in super handy. If you can still find those, that might be a better option when it comes to actually buying some of these from here, because they are a little bit on the higher end, pricier side. I'm not quite sure how the quality of those are either. They don't sell any of the smooth on products, unfortunately. It would be amazing if they did. So for now, I'm going to continue to order some smooth on products off of Amazon. Now, one thing that I've had recommended that I buy that I spend a little bit more money on are these Xuron flush cutters. So these are basically the same thing that you get with 99% of the 3D printers out there. However, these are supposed to be much higher quality than those. And apparently the ones that come with every printer are basically knockoffs of these here. So again, it's a little bit steeper of a buy. This was $18. I don't know if I'm going to regret spending that money on this when I have like a dozen of these just laying around my print shop from the different printers that I've had, but we'll see how these actually work out. All right, so I've got these opened up, and here are the original flat shears that come with the Neptune 2. And just a quick test with the ones that come with the Neptune 2 on a piece of filament. Yeah, it cuts it. And here are the ones that I just bought that are much more expensive, and it does the same thing. I'm not really sure what I was expecting, but don't spend your money on these. Use the really cheap ones that come with all the different 3D printers that are out there. Hobby Lobby also sells airbrush sets, so you can pick up Iwata gear from Hobby Lobby, which is great for having a place locally if you needed to buy an airbrush or if you needed repair pieces for your airbrush. I ended up picking up this the fluid needle just as a replacement to have on hand in case during my cleaning and my rough handling of my airbrush, if I end up screwing it up, I have a replacement needle there, which was great to have on hand to know that I just can pick up some of those things, or if I lose one of the parts while I'm cleaning it, I can run out here and pick up another one. And obviously, if they sell the Iwata airbrushes, they're going to be selling airbrush paints as well. This is where I typically pick up a lot of the airbrush paints, and cleaners are directly from here at this Hobby Lobby. Another really handy tool when it comes to painting your prints is these pipettes that you can end up sucking out some of the paint from those smaller containers and putting into your airbrush or onto a plate or whatever it is that you're going to be painting with, versus dunking your paintbrush or pouring it into the paint into your airbrush and making a huge mess. These are just a really simple way to keep things nice and clean. They also had something that I've been looking all over the place for, and it's really thin masking tape. So when it comes to detailed areas of my prints that I'm trying to mask off, I have a much easier time working with this than cutting tiny little strips from my painter's tape. Again, I know I probably could have saved the $5 for this. That does hurt a little bit, but it'll be great to have this on hand when I'm trying to do some of those smaller detailed paint jobs. One of the best things that you can find over at Hobby Lobby are these small $2 bottles of Testors paint. They sell a variety of different colors, different finishes, and again, they're only $2 and they are really fantastic paints. They are a little bit more expensive than what you'll find at something like Walmart or even in the acrylic paint section over in Hobby Lobby, but the results that you're going to get with these are just amazing. And I'm going to be using the paints that I picked up from today's run on an upcoming video that was actually working on for this week, which I just couldn't get to work right. So I'm trying to refine that. You'll be seeing that here in the next week or so, I hope. I also was able to find some really small micro finishing cloth pads here. So this goes from 3,000, 3,200, 3,600, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, and 12,000 grit. That's insane how high that goes. So really looking forward to seeing what kind of finishes I can get on some of my prints that are a little bit more detail oriented, that I'm really looking to get super smooth. So this will be fun to actually work with and see how well these work compared to just things that you can buy over at Walmart. Another fantastic one that you can pick up over at Hobby Lobby is Milliput. Typically I have to pick this stuff over on Amazon, but having it available here locally is a great thing for me to be able to run out and buy. And this stuff is absolutely great for covering up seams when it comes to your 3D prints. You can also model with it, which is really cool. I'm just horrible at modeling, that's all. And the last thing that I grabbed is this Plasti Weld. I've never used this before, but I saw it in the store and I had to pick it up. This is a liquid that bonds plastic together. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I can take 2 pieces of PLA and bond it together with this material. And let's see how it goes. So I did want to say a big thank you to Elegoo for sponsoring today's video. If you're interested in any of the information about Elegoo's products, you'll find links down below where you can find out more details about those machines. I am really excited to say that I should have my hands on with the Elegoo Mars 3 here in the next handful of days. So stay tuned for that. That'll hopefully be a video coming from me here very soon. I also want to say a huge thank you to all my Patreon supporters. I love hearing from you guys, and thank you so much for all of the support, and I couldn't do this without your help. If you're interested in finding out more information about my Patreon, you'll find links down below as well. So let me know if there's anything that I missed that you typically buy over at Hobby Lobby that I should consider picking up and showing off in another upcoming video, as well as I'm running out of stores here. If you have any ideas on other stores that I should be checking out, let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.